was in the room. And Govinda Maharaj said, Maharaj, do you know this verse? And that sannyasi was very embarrassed. He said, I'm sorry, I don't know the verse. And then a little later he asked him again, do you know this other verse? I don't know that verse either. The Govinda Maharaj said, you're a sannyasi? You're a guru? And you don't know this verse? How are you a guru? How are you a sannyasi? Very, very heavy. And the next day when that Maharaj came again to class, he sat in the back behind a pillar. There's another Prabhu has a similar story sometimes too. But it wasn't just that he was being a bully. Once one of my godbrothers, I'll repeat this, it's a very heavy thing Guru Maharaj said. He was speaking about one devotee. He said, such and such devotee, he's watching pornography and artificially losing semen. That's what he said in front of all the devotees in the temple room. A very shocking thing. And then later he spoke to that devotee. He said that, and he said a similar thing many times. He said, this is not just about you, but I'm speaking about a principle. So the devotees would enter into their heart. So we have so many different devotees with us today. I'd like to ask one of our dear friends, Ekavirya Prabhu, if he can come up and say something. Whenever I see Brajalila and Ekavirya, I always remember Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, who was someone who was very close to my heart, and also Ekavirya Prabhu, because when Guru Maharaj in 1993, I first traveled with him. We went to Washington, D.C. Who would like to say something between the two of you? Or both of you? Yeah, do both. Just come. I'll give you both chairs. We centered there. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was there. And my conception, I've been in ISKCON for over 10 years before that. I was initiated. My guru had some problems and went away. And I became a little attracted to our Guru Maharaj after hearing from Sachitananda Prabhu and Rasikananda. And I thought, anyway, when Govinda Maharaj comes, I'm going to travel with him wherever he goes. And I'd like a relationship with him. Maybe even after 3 years or something, I might even ask him for initiation. We'll see. And I traveled with him for about 2 weeks. We went to Vancouver, Canada. We drove from Los Angeles to Vancouver, Canada to see him. And we traveled for about 2 weeks. And I realized, oh my God, this is my guru. And so I asked him for initiation. And around that time, I went to see Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, who received our Guru Maharaj in such a wonderful, loving way in Washington, D.C. They had a very intimate relationship, I could see that. And I told him that my resolution, I want to ask my Guru Maharaj for initiation. And he was so very kind to me, very, very friendly with me, and very encouraging. And he told me, he says, so this is the beginning. And just, I mean, that's something we all hear, but I'll never forget that when Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj told me that, because it was such a very, very deep thing. And he also told me at the time, he said, you know, I'm coming back to ISKCON, because at some point there was some problems, as Chandramauli Maharaj was saying earlier, with New Vrindavan. And New Vrindavan was outside of ISKCON for some time, so was Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj and Raghunath Maharaj and some others. And Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj told me, he said, yeah, I'm going back to ISKCON. He said, because you, Guru Maharaj, asked me to. It was a very powerful thing for me. So I'm very fortunate to have Ekavirya Prabhu, Vaishnava Mataji here. Why don't you sit and share your religion?
Swami was so excited. He shared with us that I have a very special godbrother coming. And each of his godbrothers that would come to this center, he would honor. At this point in time, we understood there was something a little different. And I asked my Guru Maharaj, who is this Swami? I've never heard of him before. He said, he's a very, very senior Vaishnava, extremely special servant of Srila Prabhupada, and we all can learn from him. So I want you to honor him even more so than you would honor me. And so when Maharaj came, we honored with flower petals at his feet. He came and we offered Guru Puja. And then I remember as soon as we finished with the kirtan, And the devotees in the Washington, D.C. area came to sit for the class. And as soon as Govinda Maharaj sat down, the disciples jumped in front of him, boom, and sat around him, and there were no seats in the very front. And he said, wow, these devotees are fast. But they were expressing their sincere desire to hear from their beloved Guru Maharaj. And even though it was something very simple, it made an impression, especially on my life, to always eagerly hear from the great devotees. And then I remember he would give class, and after an hour, he would do kirtan throughout the class, but after an hour, he started doing a kirtan. And we thought, okay, this class is over, shot, it's coming out. And then he starts speaking again. I said, okay, and we sat back down. And then 2 hours later, he continued to speak, and he had a kirtan. And then we got ready to go out of prasadam, and then he continued speaking. So he spoke for, I think that night, for about 3.5 hours. And we said, oh my God, I've never seen this before. And he never tired. He just engaged in Krishna Katha, and he could continue on and on and on. The plan was that Maharaj would come and stay with us in Washington, D.C. throughout the weekend. And he came on Friday, and by Sunday morning, I remember he had a discussion with Bhakti Tirtha Swami. And then I remember my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, said, he came out with a huge smile. He said, His Holiness Govinda Maharaj is going to stay with us another week. And so we had this Krishna Katha each and every evening. I would go to work and come back, and we'd prepare prasadam, and we'd just sit and we'd relish Krishna Katha. And it was such a sweet time, and I'd never forget it. And I'll never forget how much His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj appreciated his dear God brother. One thing that, of course, my wife, she won't come up at this point in time, but she had a very wonderful experience in 1980 as traveling through India. She came to Bhubaneswar. Okay. But I also expressed that the disciples of His Holiness Govinda Maharaj, I've gotten so much I have so much appreciation for each and every one that I've come in contact with. And just like that was a new experience for me in Washington, D.C. Since 1996 and the departure of His Holiness Govinda Swami, many people will not have the Bapu experience. They will have the Vani experience, and most of which would be introduced. They will have new experiences through the disciples. And so, just as you have made an impression on me, I pray that you continue to live the example of your Guru Maharaj and make a profound impression on others, so that we can all hear and benefit from the words of His Holiness Govinda Maharaj. His Holiness Govinda Maharaj, Ki Jai.